Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today, doing the February fighter of the month, as I count down the top 5 fighters from the month of February, the fighters that fought in the month of February. Now, before we get into that, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel, I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel here. So, again, this is a new segment that I want to do at the end of every month or beginning of the new month, is talk about the top 5 fighters that fought in the previous month. This one is on the month of February, where there wasn't a lot of big time fights, I'll be honest. And you know, we were supposed to have Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. The winner of that absolutely probably would have locked up the top spot, but that fight got postponed due to an injury to Fury. So here's the top 5. Again, not overly impressive, and you probably didn't even see the number 1 fighter fight. But be that as it may, I still broke them down. So let's take a look. We start with number 5, undefeated light heavyweight contender Joshua Buatsi for his impressive and convincing 12-round unanimous decision win over Dan Aziz, as Buatsi sealed his number 1 spot in the WBC, WBA. I think he's number 1 in the WBO as well. He is next in line for a title shot. We know he's talking to Anthony Yarde next after this victory, you know. It was just a good, solid performance. He scored a couple knockdowns. Dan Aziz showed a lot of heart, but Buatsi went out there and outworked him, outgunned him. 12-round unanimous decision win, so he's number 5. Number 4 goes to Hamzat Shiraz, the undefeated middleweight contender. He went out against Liam Williams and surprised the hell out of everybody and knocked out the always tough Liam Williams in the very first round. I mean, I don't think anybody saw this one coming. I don't think anybody was surprised that he won, but the fact that he went out there and just walked right through a game veteran, former world title challenger, Liam Williams. I mean, Williams is a guy that can take shots, and it seemed like he couldn't take even one of Shiraz's shots, as Shiraz put him down multiple times and stopped him in the very first round as he remained undefeated. Big time win, locking up the number 1 spot in the WBO for Shiraz. So a big time victory. Number 3 goes to Teofimo Lopez for his controversial decision win over Jermaine Ortiz, as he retained the WBO junior welterweight title at 140 pounds. I mean, this one, you know, Lopez just didn't cut the ring off, was throwing one punch at a time. Ortiz didn't seem too hell-bent on throwing a lot of punches either. It was a close, kind of ugly fight. It really could have gone either way. The judges gave it to Lopez. You know, I don't really have a huge problem with that. I don't think it was a robbery, but it was controversial because it was close. And, you know, it just was an ugly fight too, though. So if Ortiz would have been convincing, he's probably the number 1 for sure and the February fighter of the month. But because it was just an ugly fight, and he just didn't look great in this fight, or look good even, he lands at number 3 for me. Number 2, I gave it to O'Shaquie Foster for his hard-fought 12-round close decision victory over Abraham Nova, as he retained the WBC super featherweight title at 130 pounds. You know, I told everybody coming in that Nova's a lot better opponent than people are giving him credit for, and he proved that. He was winning most of the early rounds. You know, Foster turned it on in the second half of the fight, even scored a knockdown in the 12th round and secured a close decision victory in this one. I think it was a split decision, as he retained his world title, you know, and showed again for the second time in a row that he's got a shitload of stamina, as he pushed the action in the second half of the fight and really poured it on Abraham Nova. But Abraham Nova had nothing, no shame in this loss. But number 2 goes to O'Shaquie Foster. And number 1, a lot of people probably didn't see this fight. I didn't even see it. But I'm giving it to Eduardo Nunez for his 11th round knockout victory over Shavkat Rakhimov in their IBF final eliminator at 130 pounds. If you didn't know about this fight, you should have if you're a real boxing fan. Shavkat Rakhimov, top 5 fighter at 130 pounds, only loss of his career was that very close split decision loss to Joe Cordina last year, as he lost the IBF title in Cordina's home country. This time, Rakhimov was in his home country. I think it's Tajikistan. I don't even know what it's called. He was in his home country, and Eduardo Nunez was going to his house to fight. And you would have thought that if Rakhimov could take Nunez to the late rounds, it might be bad news for Nunez, but it was the exact opposite. Nunez just never really took his foot off the gas pedal as he kept pressing forward and was able to finally break through and stop the very good Shavkat Rakhimov in the 11th round, as he locks up an IBF #1 mandatory title shot at 130. This wasn't a title fight, but I just felt like the dominance that he showed against the quality of opponent, Lopez and Foster, they didn't do that. And neither guy, I felt, Jermaine Ortiz was top 5 guy at lightweight, but not at 140 he wasn't. And Lopez didn't look good in that fight either, and a lot of people question if he even won. Shaki Foster, Abraham Supernova, good fighter, but wasn't a top 10 guy coming in. Rakhimov was a top 5 guy coming into the fight against Eduardo Nunez, and was the favorite to win in his home country. And Nunez pressure, broke him down and stopped him in the 11th impressively. So for me, it's really, I really went with the quality of the win, and I got to give it to Eduardo Nunez for that victory. Even if you look at Liam Williams or Joshua Buatsi, again, fighting guys like Buatsi fought Aziz, who was right at the tail end of the top 10, maybe on some people's list, not even in the top 10. Liam Williams, not a top 10 guy anymore, just a tough veteran. So those were convincing, good victories for both him and Shiraz, Buatsi and Shiraz. But Eduardo Nunez beat the best fighter coming into the fight in his home country, and he stopped them. So, I have to give the February Fighter of the Month award to the Mexican knockout artist, 25-1, 25 knockout, or 26-1 now, 26 knockouts, Eduardo Nunez. So that's it. That's what I got. That's my February Fighter of the Month. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.